There are two ways to apply surface piping to the Madrid sweater. Both look fantastic, yet the approach is quite different. Although it may look like I-cord, it is not. The first method is very quick and easy to do, but is only possible when the same or similar yarn is used for both the sweater and the piping. You simply knit the piping right onto the sweater. Later in this video, the second method is used. This is a great approach when the yarn selected for the piping is significantly different from the body of the sweater. Before you can begin the applied piping, you must first close the bottom edges of the facing. Join the hem to the facing on the left and right fronts and seam the back neck. Watch Madrid Sweater Part 5, seaming the shoulders and back neck, and Part 8, finishing, for a deeper dive.
Okay, I'm going to bring 4 needles out. They don't have to be any particular location on your needle bed, okay? I have 4 needles out. My row counter I don't even care about at this point because it's just going to work out. It just does.
If using the exact same yarn, set the tension to the main tension. If using a similar yarn, you may want to experiment with a slightly tighter or looser tension.
So I'm leaving a 10-inch yarn tail. I'm retracting 2 needles. I'm knitting 1 row. I'm going to use a weight as my cast-on comb, and I'm just going to hang it on there. And I'm going to bring those other 2 needles back that I had retracted, because I want this cast on, because I will pull this end to tighten it up later. Okay, so I've just knit 2 rows. Now we go to the bottom of the sweater. Now I already finished this edge here. I closed the facing. I did not close the facing all the way up. I don't have to. I could. It works the same. I'm starting at the right front, bottom edge, and I'm eventually going to feed it like this, down, and it's going to keep feeding down. So I'm going to start by picking up the edge loop, okay? And I'm going to hang it on the left needle. So technically, the right side of the garment is facing the machine. And now I'm going to knit 2 rows. Now I'm going to skip a row down here because this is in between the facing. I'm going to pick up an edge stitch right there and hang it on the machine. Knit 2 rows. Now I'm getting up to where I have my seaming column. So I'm going to pick up the first stitch of that and hang it on and knit 2 rows. Each of these tuck stitches represents 2 rows, so it'll be even with what I'm knitting. So I'm picking up just half of that tuck stitch, that longer loop, you can see it, that column. I'm picking up the one closest to the facing, just the half, hanging it on the left needle. Knit 2 rows. I'm going to pick up this half of the stitch, the half that's closest to the facing, and hang it on the needle. Now you just have to make sure you keep your hand out of the way. So I'm holding it down. Pick up the next one. Once you get it established, and you see how the front of the sweater is turning in. Turning in toward the machine. So I'm looking for my longer strands. I'm just picking up the next one and hanging it on that same left needle. And I'm going to go all the way up this side on the right front, go across the back neck, and I'll show you what I have to do on the back neck. Now let's see what this looks like. We're long enough so you can see exactly how that looks. Isn't that pretty? You're adding this to the surface. So I'm going to keep going, and I'll meet you when I'm on the back neck. Now when I reach the back neck, which you can see, there seems to be another transition. So here I'm right at the back neck. I don't have those long loops anymore. So I'll finish that one. Then I'm going to pick up the edge stitch on every other row, because it compensates for the 2 rows that I'm knitting.
Once you complete the piping along the back neck edge, continue down the left front by picking up half of the long stitch closest to the facing, just like you did on the right front. I'll meet you at the bottom edge.
And as I go down, and I'm reaching the bottom hem on the left front this time, here's my last elongated loop. So I want to skip 2 rows and come down here and pick up something that looks right in line with that. It could be even your seam. Skip 2 rows. And now I think my last pickup is going to be right on the edge. Actually, if I fold it up, it's right there. So I'm going to cut it at this point. I don't need a long tail, I just need enough to take it off. Get my trusty darning needle. Pull these out to hold and just pop them off. Just like that. Now I use this end to make another stitch through here. Now that we have it off the machine, you can see how this edging goes all the way around the neck and then down the left front also. So this is when we can do the rest of the finishing. At the bottom edges, the edges are treated the same. We just pull the end, fold it over, and stitch it to the inside of the sweater, right at the facing line, just to make it neat. And we only stitch it right on this edge. You can then weave this right in on this inside. You would do the same thing on the ending edge over here. Just fold it under and stitch it down.
The second way you can do the piping is to knit the trim separate from the sweater. First, measure all the way around the neckline at the seaming column. Then, bring 4 or 5 needles to work position. Retract every other needle to the out of work position and knit 1 row. Then, bring the retracted needles back into work and continue to knit until the piece is 10 to 20 inches longer than the neckline. Make sure to wash and dry the separate trim piece with the sweater prior to sewing it into place. This allows each to shrink at their own rates. Now you are ready to sew the trim onto the sweater.
And I'm just going to mattress stitch it into place. These gauges do not match. I'm just taking a half a stitch on the side of the facing, stitching it under, and then going back over here so I can see exactly where it is. And I can just stitch quite a few of these. And you just want to get into the groove between the seaming line and the facing. And then stitch over here. You could whip stitch it into place too, but I actually find that the mattress stitch on this works better. This is where I'm going to clip it. I'm going to clip it a few rows further down, and I'm going to pick out with my needle the yarn. There we go. And so we're getting down to the very final row that I want to take out. And so it comes out. I'm going to thread it through so I catch all the loops on each of these stitches and pull this end through. And I'm tightening it up just a little bit. I'm going to take one more stitch through. just to lock it down, we're going to pull the edge and bring it right down to the edge and stitch this right to the edge so that it makes a perfect edge. And of course, we're going to secure it with a couple of stitches right through that end knot. And so we've just attached our surface piping so that our sweater will hang and that edging will not pull up our facing.
I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please take a moment to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications of upcoming videos and events. Happy machine knitting!